6-2 road trip. They're going to look to pull off the sweep against the Tigers. And then the story of Grant Anderson, the rookie reliever who struck out his first 7 overall, and he got the Gatorade shower right next to this guy from Bally, John Rhadigan, joining us from Detroit here on Shan and RJ 105.3 The Fan. Good morning, John. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm great. Headed to the ballpark already. We got that early day game, so it's awesome. Getaway day.
What have you done fun in Detroit?
Well, you know, I'm from here, as you guys probably remember. So I got here early. We had a graduation. My youngest nephew had a big party. I always say this, guys. A party isn't good until the bar gets broken. And at the end of the party, my brother-in-law is like, how are we going to get all these kids out of here? And then a couple of them were dancing. They fell on the bar, and they broke the bar. So, it was easy. It's like, the bar's broken. You got to get out of here, So that was fun. And then we've actually got a family wedding this weekend. So I kind of made a little pleasure business trip out of this deal.
Excellent. John, what has it just been like overall covering this team this year after all the struggles we've had around here?
Yeah, it's really been amazing. It's been so much fun. And, I've actually been through it before, of course. I mean, I've been blessed to be a part of some part of the broadcast, whether it was pregame, postgame, sideline, my short stint with play-by-play. I've been a part of it since '96, right? So I've seen these ups and downs before, but it's just been awesome this time because it's happened so fast. We all thought that they would be better this year. We just didn't have any idea they would be this much better. I was talking to Dayton Moore yesterday about that, one of CY's guys, and he was saying, we were sitting in the dugout, he pointed down at Bochy, and he goes, it's him. And again, it's all of them, but it's nice that, baseball ops are giving credit to the manager, and the manager will give credit to them. It's everybody, but it's so much fun to have this thing happening so quickly.
What do you think has been the story of the year so far?
A really good question. I think that if you ask Bruce Bochy, it would either be the way that they have allowed or helped and inspired Leote to really live up to what he can be. And Bochy told us yesterday, his ceiling is so high he hasn't even begun to scratch the surface of his full potential. So it's either that, it's going to be young guys. It's either that or the defense that Josh Young has played. It's just been unbelievable. We knew he was going to hit, but he's been playing such great defense at third base, and we weren't sure that was going to be, another thing that came quite as quickly as it has.
What's Bochy been like to deal with?
Unbelievable. I mean, it's great because he'll answer any and every question we ask, but the fun part is after, we're done with the formal portion of the interview and he goes to telling stories, he's a great storyteller. He was talking yesterday. They clinched, the Giants clinched in Detroit in 12. So we were taking him down memory lane of clinching at Comerica and all that. He goes, man, I remember I was wearing a jacket that night it was kind of chilly here, and I was wearing a jacket that night. He goes, back in those days, I was still dipping, and he said, so I had a can of Copenhagen in my pocket, and then they took my jacket for the Hall of Fame exhibit. And a couple of years later, I was at the Hall of Fame. I asked him, hey, can you open up that display? I want to see if the can of Copenhagen's still in it. Stuff like this, just the memories that this guy has, and he's just they're clear as day, and he pulls them out, and it's just awesome. It's so much fun to just talk to him. In addition to, of course, getting the nuts and bolts about baseball. When he was hired, I sat there with Mark McLemore on the set at Bally, and we did the press conference, the introductory press conference, and all that. And Mac was just so giddy, and I'm like, what is it, man? Why are you so excited about this? And he said, because Bochy will stand in the dugout, and he'll go, without fanfare, without any, stress, he'll go, you're next. You're after him. Then it's you, right? He just knows what is coming in this game, and it just calms players down. And I think I think we see that. There's a calmness. There's a real clarity about what they're doing. There's a confidence that builds almost every day. And I think so much of that comes from the fact that he is that way.
We're talking with John Rhadigan from Bally Sports Southwest. John, it's felt a little bit like from this fan base that they're waiting for the come down. Like it's felt like these first 6 to 8 weeks or so, people are like, okay, well, where's the return to earth a little bit? And now that we've passed Memorial Day and you've seen them win some big series, it feels like everybody's just kind of going, okay, this is actually real. This is a legitimate contender. Do you think everybody's kind of got that sense with the team and the fan base and everything that, like, this is something that's real and this is a real contender?
Yeah, and you guys probably said it, and we did. A lot of times at the beginning of the year, we'd go, well, it's a small sample size, but, they're doing really well. Well, now we're a third of the way officially after yesterday's game. We're a third of the way through this season. I bring that up to Bochy, of course, and he goes, oh, we may be doing okay, but we got 2/3 left, so he's going to keep pushing. But I think, to your point, yeah, that this is real. We're one of the hits I'm doing this morning, or on the pregame show, is about the bullpen. Right, the only issue that we've had is the bullpen. We've got a little comparison of, I think it's their last 6 compared to the previous 7, and it's unbelievable. Boch was saying the whole time, we have the arms here to fix this bullpen. We just got to get everybody right. And again, that approach and that patience and that confidence that he has shown in them, it seems to be paying dividends. Now, will there be other bumps in the road? Of course there will, but you then have confidence. I mean, if he's been able to pull that bullpen out of what appeared to be a tailspin and get them back to this, I think he's got in him whatever we need to get over whatever bump in the road comes.
Who is Grant Anderson?
He's unbelievable. This is a kid that didn't get drafted out of high school. He went to McNeese State, and he got, in his freshman year at McNeese State, he had like a 12 ERA or something. And then all of a sudden he figured it out. And I need to ask him this. I didn't have a long enough interview with him yesterday. I wonder if maybe he started, getting into the motion and the delivery that he has now at that point, right after his freshman year, because it's tricky, man. He hides the ball well. He's dang near like, you guys probably aren't old enough to remember this guy. He's like Louis Tiant. He'll turn his back to the guy and then come around and throw it. You can't find the ball. Even Jonah told me after the game, he goes, I'll tell you what, first couple of pitches, I was having trouble finding him, and I knew what was coming. So it's really a unique, obviously a unique delivery, and boy, did it pay dividends. Seven strikeouts of 9 hitters. Now, he struck out 40% of the guys he faced in the minors, 43% once he got up to AAA, and that was by far the best strikeout percentage in the Pacific Coast League. But he's way over. He's at 80% or darn near in the major leagues. So it's great. I'm going to talk to his parents today, see if we can get a little more lowdown on him.
It makes me wonder if, because he doesn't have overpowering stuff from a fastball standpoint.
No.
It makes me wonder if his delivery is a major part of it and just fooling guys and they're not being able to see when the ball's coming out.
Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it, RJ. I also think, though, that there's so much movement. Even his four-seamer moves a lot. And that's that's the great equalizer for any of these guys, right, is that movement. Of course, it's location, but if you can move it to him. We did one of our graphic things, I think it was, one of our StatCasts, and we showed everything he was throwing last night, every strike, and he threw mostly strikes, was out there on the outer 3 quadrants of the plate and then, up and down on the outside, and they were, tailing away from the right-handed hitter. I guess they were all on the same side. They were coming in on the lefty, and they were tailing away from the righty.
What's the worst Gatorade cooler ref that you've caught? Last year? I think it was last year. I saw him coming, and nowadays the producers are in our ears telling them. I didn't notice, actually, Martine, and they haven't been doing it on the road much this year, so I didn't notice him, but they tell me in my ear, Gatorade coming, but last year, so I was fully prepared, but last year, I can't remember who it was got it, and I got, like, my, shoes
completely sucked. And they were great. They were, in fact, I think it was here, as a matter of fact, because I remember they were in this clubhouse apologizing to me, because my shoes are completely soaked. And I told them, that's on me. If I've lost a step and can't get out of the way, that's on me. It's not on you guys, So that was pretty bad. They were leather shoes. They were nice shoes. They were pretty squeaky all the way back to the hotel.
John Rhadigan joining us from Bally Rangers pregame today on the Fan at 11:30. First pitch at 12:10. I'm glad you brought up the clubhouse. We see the obvious differences with this team on the field. John, what's the clubhouse been like?
Oh my gosh, it's night and day from a year ago. And I actually had a conversation with Travis Jankowski about this yesterday, right? So he goes, we were talking about how much fun they have together. And I said to him, I go, well, you were on the Mets last year, beginning of the year last year. You guys were, everybody thought you were going to be great. You started great. You were having fun then. He goes, yeah, of course. It's always fun when you're winning. He says something like, I bet they're not having much fun in Oakland. And I said, in a way, Oakland is what the Rangers have been the last few years. Again, I think it's worse than the Rangers have been, but, similar. And I said, and the reality is all the guys here in the last few years, they get it. They're Major League Baseball players, right? I mean, there is a confidence and there is a joy at just making it to the major league. So it's not, horrible, but it is night and day difference better how much fun all of these guys are having and, messing with each other. And then there is an elusive thing, even among winners, of chemistry. And Robbie Grossman's another one that's been on a lot of teams, and he says this team just has it. He felt like it's had it since the beginning of the year, where Will Smith said the same thing. Will Smith told me, Will got to spring training late. He said about my second day, Mitch Garver comes up to me and he goes, all right, what do you do, dude? Because I'm going to need to know in the 7th and 8th inning when you come in. And he just, Will was saying that is unique, right, among the other teams he's gone to just have somebody come up in such a friendly and fun way, just ask him, what are we doing? Because we're friends and we're teammates, and let's get this together.
John, are you still feeling the day-to-day effects with the changes in pace and play? How many more dinner reservations have you been able to make?
It's unbelievable. And, here's the funny thing. So last night, I'm sitting there, and again, we get to know the crew on the road, especially for me in Detroit, because I've known some of them for years and years. So the crew, the Detroit people that are working with me on the Bally crew here, they come up, they peek their head around the camera and say to me in about the 3rd inning, well, so much for our fast-paced game. I'm like, dude, what do you want, an hour 50? Yeah. I mean, and they said, that's our fastest game this year. We played 1 hour and 50 minutes. And I go, we're not getting very many of those, but like everybody gets greedy all of a sudden. Yeah. Hey, 2.5 is fantastic for me. And, and I've had the chance to, I had people at both games. I got to see them after both games and have fun. So it's a night and day difference. I love it. And really, so do the players. And so do Bochy was funny one day. Somebody said something about, and they hadn't been paying close attention. We had a 207, and somebody said the next day, wow, 207. And I said, well, we had a 204 already this year. And Bochy goes, yeah, I screwed that one up. I changed pitchers in the 8th. We could have gotten out of there in under 2. So,
you got any good Bassick dirt for us this season?
Oh God, there's always dirt on Bassick. I got to rein that guy in all the time. He's him. He's always going in so many different directions. I got to figure out, is he over here buying a Luca card, or what's he doing over here? And sometimes he'll come up to me and he'll just make a comment about a game, and I'm looking at our baseball game going, what the heck's he talking about? Well, he's talking about the Trailblazers and the Jazz. I'm like, oh yeah. I wasn't paying attention to that one, Mike. He's great. I love Mike. We've been, he and I have been working together for years and years. He's really, really knowledgeable. It's so much fun to pick his brain about baseball in general, pitching in particular.
Hey man, this was absolutely fantastic. We'd love to do it again. Thanks for making the time, and have a good call today on the game we'll be watching. Thank you, John.
Sounds great, guys. Thank you. We'll talk to you soon.